you're gonna point the finger when we're live, right? Oh, we're all right, cool. Thank you. All right, hey everybody, we are back live at Trace3 Evolve. This is our Leadership and Technology Conference. We have just finished our main stage content for day one, and I have to tell you, Sandy, I thought it was a complete and utter home run.
Total home run. An incredible first day. We kicked it off with Rich Fennessy, our CEO, who gave a fantastic State of the Union on Trace3.
Yep.
Great way to start the day with a couple of dance moves as well. Some great music. I enjoyed that.
I didn't know he had those moves in it, but yeah.
He totally does. And we actually have the privilege, Todd, of sharing a couple of our incredible keynote speakers with our guests who are tuning in live.
Yes, it's like bonus coverage of what happened on the main stage.
Bonus,
yeah.
Totally, yeah. So I'll go ahead and introduce our incredible first guest, fourth-time Evolve speaker, by the way, worth noting. Peter Hinson is a global keynote speaker, best-selling author, business school lecturer, the list continues. He's a serial entrepreneur and a trusted board advisor for many companies, as well as the founder of many himself. Please help me welcome the incredible Peter Hinson.
Hi, Pete. Come on up.
Come on, Peter.
You know why Peter's coming up here? Hey, Pete. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it, buddy. All right, thank
nice
you. All right. You know, one of the things during the intro, Sandy, that we forgot to mention is his amazing Apple museum that he's been working on forever.
The Apple
Have you
Chapel.
seen that?
The Apple Chapel.
The Apple Chapel.
Have you seen the cufflinks? Oh no, I don't have the Apple cufflinks. I normally have Apple cufflinks, but
Okay,
I
okay.
forgot them at home.
You'll have to take a picture and send it to us.
So you started programming on the Apple, and did you, how many, because I'm a big Apple user, and you and I are close to the same age, I don't want to say how close, and I've also it's the first thing that I learned how to design on, and obviously a big Apple loyalist, but did you, when you showed us the pictures of all the Macintoshes that you have, were you able to kind of, during your career, continue to upgrade? Because those things were perpetually $2,000 no matter what. Every year a new version came out.
Very
it was always
expensive.
$2,000 and it would never go down, you know?
No,
It's the Apple way.
They're super expensive, but I worked on Apple computers and Macs all my life. I never threw anything away, and then I started really massively collecting that about 25 years ago, to the point where it became. I call it a passion. My wife has a different name for
An
that.
obsession.
Yeah, hoarding.
An obsession. Yeah, hoarding. Yeah. But it's something which I like to. When people come and visit the Apple Chapel, a lot of people associate Apple with a really powerful tech company, one of the most valuable companies.
Yeah.
But it's gone through enormous, roller coaster rides. Apple was virtually bankrupt in 1997. The company virtually disappeared, and then was able to reinvent itself. And it's a journey of ups and downs, which I think is really inspirational.
Yeah, the Gil Amelio years, as you recall. What a crazy time that was.
There are a couple of really bad CEOs at Apple.
Yeah. By the way, it speaks to a concept that I love of yours around kind of the Phoenix, unicorn versus Phoenix concept. And it's, long-standing companies that in some cases would be considered legacy companies reinventing themselves and rising from the ashes. So
I think it's something that I've been really focused on for the last couple of years, because there was almost like a unicorn fetish. Every conference, it was Airbnb and Uber.
Yeah.
But most companies are never going to be Airbnb or Uber. And I wanted to find companies that can reinvent themselves, that can use the power of technology to become stronger versions. Yeah. And that has been amazing. I mean, a company like Walmart, for example, is a really interesting one. It's been around for 70 plus years. I think 10 years ago, people said, not sure if they're going to make it in this digital age.
Yeah.
And they're capable of reinventing themselves. A company like Microsoft's a great example of a phoenix, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, 50 years old, 15 years ago, they were not doing so well, and then completely focusing on that strategic journey to the cloud, capable of reinventing itself with a whole different mindset and culture and attitude. They're amazing companies.
Yeah, they really are.
AI
They
investment
really are.
helped too with them big time.
Absolutely, but it's also being open-minded to see opportunities, and then not just to see them, but actually do something. And I think this is the problem with most companies. It's not enough to just anticipate. You have to be able to act, and that agency is often the real secret sauce for phoenixes.
Right. Nice. I have a question as you were talking through on stage today, and I think many of the people that were in the audience, I want to say there's like a 10-year range where we're all about the same age. Everyone caught your references and your
Everybody
jokes.
got the jokes.
Yeah. You know right away that you're talking to the right answer, the right crowd when you mention, Star Wars or you show a VHS player.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
all get it, right?
Yeah.
But you talked about data science being a big thing, and then you touched on this new growth area, which is going to be content science. And I have a daughter that's going to be entering the workforce, so of course I'm always looking for jobs that are not going to be taken away by AI. And I was kind of eager to hear a little bit more about content science and what you think that would involve.
And it's something that evolved over the last 2-3 years as AI became really mainstream and pervasive. But I think what happens in most companies is we have really overspent on the structured data side. And many companies have, data warehouses and data lakes, and they have data scientists, and this is something that is now well established in most companies, whether it's financial institutions or retailers. They really have a really, really strong position in data. But then there's the unstructured content part, and that has been a disaster.
Yeah.
First of all, it's a lot bigger. I mean, 70, 80, 90% of the information floating around in companies is unstructured. And I call it the Jaws phenomenon, because we just kept buying bigger boats, right? The file server is full, we buy a bigger boat.
Yeah.
And what you now have is heaps of garbage of unstructured content floating around. And there's this magical idea that if we just throw it to AI, it's just automatically going to make us more productive. And I don't think that works. I think one of the reasons why we saw that famous MIT study that 95% of Gen AI projects are failures is because there is that naive hope. And I think what we're going to probably need to do is what we did in the data side for 20 years. I mean, we cleaned and we structured and we organized and we did a lot of effort. I think we're going to need a compressed transformation in the unstructured side. And that's what I started calling content science. Not data science, but content science.
Right.
And maybe we're going to need content scientists.
Yes.
And, I think, to your point, that's going to be new jobs. People who understand which type of information, unstructured content, is going to be relevant and useful, feed that, massage that, clean that, update that, and make sure that it really has an optimal way to really use in an AI leverage mechanism.
Right.
And maybe, I mean, many people ask me, but who are content scientists?
Yeah.
They're not just the kids who write Python and use R. Maybe it's the Conan the librarians who know how to organize and structure unstructured information. And I think that's going to be something where if companies really focus on that, I think they could unlock tremendous potential.
Well, yeah, the original content scientist you mentioned at the beginning of your presentation, Ted Sarandos, he had a bunch of tapes, but he knew exactly what was on every tape. So he became his own human content scientist.
Yeah, I mean, he developed the algorithm almost, by just his experience.
Right.
But I think we're going to see a lot of potential where AI is the biggest game changer I've seen in my lifetime. I mean, we all feel that, and I think. But the problem is that if you really want to leverage that, if everybody uses AI out of the box, there is no differentiator. You're not going to get that huge productivity gain. But if you can find a way to really blend that with your unique information structure, there is enormous potential. And I think I always make the joke, companies don't have IT departments. They have data technology departments. And this is the last 20 years that I think we're now going to have to course correct and understand that there's 70, 80, or maybe 90% other stuff out there that is going to be really useful and necessary to unlock the potential.
Right. If we can just figure out, we get some humans to help us unlock it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we're going to have tools and we're going to have mechanisms and platforms to make that happen. But I think really understanding the value of information, that is, I think, a big challenge ahead. It's also, I think, a huge challenge for technology leaders, because for a long time you had, IT managers or CIOs, but they really focused on a very small, slice of that big information spectrum. And I think this gives, an enormous amount of opportunity for CIOs to expand their role and to be, even more impactful for their organization.
Excellent.
Well, on the topic of opportunity, there was another sort of form or platform for opportunity that you described on stage today, which is the very thing that scares everybody, which is uncertainty.
Yep.
And I call that opportunity because the way that you set the stage, and maybe we should just take a couple of steps back and kind of set some context. You described the world we live in today, and it's a world full of not known unknowns and not known knowns, but unknown unknowns.
Yeah.
And that third category is exceeding the other two by leaps and bounds. So in this world of incredible uncertainty, filled with unknown unknowns, how do we all make sense of what is an increasingly a crazy world, as you describe it? And when we apply that to like the business world, not to make it a binary conversation, but teams have a couple of choices. They have a choice to hedge, or they have a choice to what you describe as leverage the uncertainty and turn it into opportunity. Is there a specific trait that you have sort of gleaned over the course of your time with various organizations? Is there a characteristic that lends itself to teams who leverage uncertainty for their own benefit versus teams who hedge consistently? Any characteristics?
Well, I think it's almost human nature to hate uncertainty.
Yeah.
Right? Because it confuses us and it paralyzes the brain, and you can have so much paralysis in organizations as a result of uncertainty.
Yeah.
But to your point, what we're getting into is a world where uncertainty becomes the norm.
Yeah.
Where we're probably it makes no sense anymore in this crazy world to just say, you know what, this is nuts. We're just going to wait until it's back to a stable situation, because that might not happen.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to have to learn how to deal with it, but even more, maybe learn to love it and use that. And I don't like the term, but weaponizing uncertainty might be a good way to describe that. And what I've seen with organizations that are capable of doing that is that the number one thing is not technology, but really mindset and culture. And for me, it's a combination of three things. It's being able to sense and pick up and anticipate. Mm-hmm. It's not enough to anticipate. You have to then use that. You have to be agile and adaptable. And you're not going to get everything right in a world of uncertainty. So you need extreme resilience to make that happen.
Yeah.
And that idea of anticipate, adapt, and be resilient, I think, is the core mechanism to be able to unlock the power of uncertainty, to weaponize uncertainty, and to really leverage that period of never normal that we're in.
Beautifully said. You also mentioned that timing is critical in this state of uncertainty. Why? Walk us through why timing really matters. You said something to the effect of, you don't innovate when you have to. That's too late. You innovate when you can.
Yeah. And I think we're in a world now where, as a result of technology that becomes so easy and accessible, look at the whole vibe coding thing, where all of a sudden, things that seemed really complex to do is now something where you can just use a natural language prompt to generate applications and innovation in a record time.
Yeah.
And I think where we are in this never normal is two things. First of all, the cost of doing is going down. So it becomes easier, cheaper, faster to just do something. But where we are in the never normal is the cost of waiting is going up. And I think in an environment now where there are so many opportunities to unlock, I think if you wait too long, you're probably going to lose the opportunity. So in that world where the cost of doing basically goes to zero and the cost of waiting increases, I think we have to accelerate the opportunities to tackle that never normal.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, you love it too. And to your earlier point, becoming mystery solvers and not puzzle solvers. I love that. And that's a really good point. I know.
And most people in organizations are by nature puzzle solvers.
Yeah.
Because also we've been trained to be puzzle solvers. We've been educated to be puzzle solvers.
Right.
But I think this is where sometimes people say, is the next generation going to be able to cope with that? Honestly, I think they're more mystery solvers than we give them credit.
Yes.
And I think making sense of a world which is, completely crazy might be an enormously good advantage in, this world where we need more mystery solvers.
Yes. And solving mysteries is way more fun.
Oh,
than
absolutely.
solving puzzles.
Yeah.
Come on. Anybody
true.
can do a puzzle.
Exactly.
Yeah. But That's all I had for Mr. Hinson. Sandy, I don't know if you had anything else for him.
Well,
I know.
I guess I'll leave you with one last question, or I'll ask you one last question, which is, you take such an incredibly realistic but optimistic tone.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think at one point you described it as the most exciting and most confusing time of our lives, right? For someone asking, is AI going to replace me someday?
Yeah.
How would you answer that?
Well, I think I'm a pathological optimist. I mean, that's how I like
Thank you.
to...
We need those.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think, I've been in the world of technology now for 30 years. And when I started, I did startups when I was younger. And then a lot of my customers were like CTOs or CIOs of big companies who were like, I don't know, 10, 15 years older than me. A lot of these people are now retiring. And I go to some of the retirement parties and I see the tears in their eyes where they think, damn, I have to retire now just when it's getting fun.
Oh, that's amazing.
And
That's
I
crazy.
I really believe that we're in one of the most exciting periods where technology and innovation gives such potential. But I think we need to build that positive narrative.
Yes.
Because I see too many media, newspapers, being very negative about all the dangers. And true, we have to look at ethics and privacy and concerns and security, all of that. That is really important. But the upside of making the world a much better place as a result of this, I think that's what we have to embrace. And this is where we as technologists, I think, really have to, build that narrative. The world of technology is in a super exciting environment, and we always look at some of the scariest things that can happen. But I think we have to really help shape that positive, optimistic narrative. I think it's the only way to really make sure that we get there.
For sure. And what we believe we manifest.
Absolutely.
We want it to be a happy ending for everybody. Peter, we cannot thank you enough.
It's been a pleasure.
Crowd loves you, man.
Thank you very much.
I predict a 5th appearance here at
And
the
6th
Evolve.
and 7th. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
a
sir.
pleasure.
I'll take that from
Cheers.
you. Great. Oh, you're welcome. Wow, what a pro.
I know. It's what we were discussing this morning, not just an incredible visionary, but his delivery. I mean, what a masterful delivery of a pretty complex thinking.
I'll say.
Loved
Keeping
it.
everyone engaged. No one tunes out to Peter Hinson. I can promise you that.
That's right. Well, we are now pleased to introduce our next guest, also, an incredible speaker who took the main stage earlier today, Stephen Van Belleham, who is also a globally recognized thought leader, and specifically in customer experience and in digital transformation as a whole. He's delivered over 1,000 keynotes across more than 40 countries. He consults with the largest brands on this planet, and is an author of several best-selling books and a founder as well. Please help us welcome Stephen to the stage.
Come on over, Stephen. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for
Do
having me.
you mind holding that?
Of course. There we go.
Well, we, as marketers, we really appreciated your talk. I mean,
Thank you.
It really was an incredible sort of masterclass in the future of marketing and how we all have to sort of evolve our thinking and stop thinking about marketing from the perspective of traditional funnel,
Right.
et cetera. There was so much incredible content in your session.
Thank you.
So let's dive into some additional details. So at one point at the start, you mentioned the world is headed from e-commerce to what you refer to as agentic commerce.
Right.
Can you explain what that is for the audience?
Yeah, of course. First of all, the way that people search for product information is changing rapidly.
Yeah.
You see how, and I think you both do that as well. If you have a discussion at the kitchen table with your children or your partner, and you don't know who's right, you don't Google it anymore, you ChatGPT it.
Yes.
Same thing if you need a product. And the big platforms are anticipating on that, so they are building systems that, without an advertising bias, until today, you can easily find the information you want. You don't have to go to 50 websites, you search on the LLM. And then the next step will be that you say, oh, great, these are the top 10 new books for 2026. Number 2, 4, and 6, I love those. Can you buy them for me?
Yeah.
And then you ask the machine to go out to Amazon and maybe buy those 3 books for you. So it's basically outsourcing the decision. And most people know that this is happening, but the consequence is that the entire marketing and sales funnel is changing. Now every company is organized to get people through that funnel. We have Google ads, we have some Facebook ads, we have our website, maybe an app, and who knows what all other kind of things we do. We focus on the conversion on our platform. But what if I do everything on Gemini? What if I do everything on ChatGPT? Then the entire marketing and sales funnel happens on that one platform where you hardly have any control on.
Yes.
So that's a fundamental different go-to-market than what we are trained to and where we organize ourselves for.
And we're starting to see marketing organizations adapt to this. It is no longer a game of search engine optimization, it's answer engine optimization. Like we're all starting to kind of morph to adapt to this kind of agentic future.
Right.
So let me ask you, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Okay.
So if it's all sort of algorithm based, and you said something profound on stage, you said, what if the customer journey didn't have the customer in it anymore, right? Mm-hmm. Referring to this kind of LLM phenomenon that's happening. So what happens if you're invisible? What happens if you're invisible to the algorithm, to the LLM?
Then you are in a very dark place.
You are hosed.
Yeah, totally. So you're literally invisible to the world.
Yeah, well, imagine that only 30% of the people would do what I just explained.
Yeah.
30% of the people start their search for a new product on an LLM. Mm-hmm. And you are not part of that journey. So that 30% of the people is not getting you in the short list of options.
Exactly.
Imagine what that does to your business. It doesn't have to be 100% of the people who are in that situation. If it's 10, 15, 20, that has a huge impact. And there are a lot of brands who never check that. You have a lot of marketing people who use ChatGPT every day and never tried, like if you work in the hotel industry here in, we're in Vegas now, so there are a lot of hotels here, but imagine you're in the hotel industry in Sacramento.
Yeah.
And people need a hotel there. Did you ever check it yourself? If you say, I want this kind of hotel, this is the group I'm traveling with, this is what I like and dislike, are you part of that list or not?
Right.
And you know, a lot of the systems now are more and more dumb platforms. Like if you look to the traditional hotel booking sites, for instance, to use that example, they ask you the date, they ask you the number of people, and they ask for a location.
Yeah.
And they assume that that is enough information to give me a hotel that is in line with my expectations.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is no longer the case. I have 2 teenagers. We like a certain location. Maybe you like a certain restaurant. I don't know what you like, but you want to put all that input there, and there you go to the LLM. But they forget to try it themselves.
Right. Well, and which is a perfect segue to the concept of personalization. And what does personalization look like in an AI world, in an AI-driven world?
For me, the ultimate personalization is that you have, at the end game, you maybe have 2 agents on your phone. So all the apps are on page 2 to page 7, and you have 2 agents, one for your private life, one for your professional life, and they outsource everything to other agents and they take care of things.
Yeah.
That's for me the ultimate form of personalization, and that's an agent that remembers you, that has all your data and history is part of their data set. They're very discreet because it may be about your personal health, it may be about your personal finance. And that's for me the ultimate personalization. Whereas what I see today, the buzzword is hyper-personalization,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
But if you dive into what people mean, it's usually optimizing marketing and sales communication so that I send you a product that is in line with what you like. But it goes much further than that. We look at personalization as a marketing community as what can we do to sell more stuff to that customer.
Yes.
I see personalization as how can we make the life of that customer easier, and thanks to that, we're probably going to sell more of our stuff. But that's a different starting point.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned that the LLMs are fed by customer feedback. So is this like a really good time for me to invest in Reddit?
Reddit is very important.
Yeah.
TripAdvisor, Yelp, all the feedback platforms. Also let's say the PR kind of channels,
right,
where a third party shares an opinion about your business. It can be you and me, can be an influencer, can be a journalist, can be anything, as long as it's not yourself. And what they've learned is that 90% of the recommendations that an LLM gives you, 90% of its decision power is based on third-party conversations about your brand. So that means that you can put out a zillion blogs.
Yeah.
That helps in the old world of marketing.
Yep.
Today, the impact is much lower of that. You need other people to talk about you.
Okay, so I know that we didn't hire you for a consultant, but we did invite you to the show, and you're stuck here.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded.
So for a company like Trace3, you know, that's a big step to start to get to people to talk about us on these platforms.
True.
Any recommendations for a company like ours? I'm just curious.
Well, I think you have an enormous asset. I'm discovering you guys, so I learned a lot of wonderful things during Rich's presentation. One of the things that sparked my eye is that you're following at least 1,000 startups in the world of AI. You work with 70 VCs. You have like this whole, if I understood it right, you have this whole ecosystem around you. You have all these wonderful, impressive partners here today. I mean, that is a network of people that can talk about Trace3, about how great you are, what you guys do, why they see value in you. That leveraging that network in online visibility and letting them, and hopefully them being excited about what you do, share that.
Right.
That has a tremendous impact.
Okay, I like that. So in this case, it might be like a LinkedIn conversations.
Yeah.
Is that something that is also searched by the LLMs?
Not always.
Okay.
But personal blogs, I mean, reviews about this conference.
Right.
Interviews that they have and that they mention you in that is super important.
Yeah, they probably scrub even YouTube, right? Is that another one that?
Yeah, YouTube, social platforms, personal pages that people have where they share knowledge.
Okay.
All that is very important.
Okay, thanks. You can take your consulting hat off now.
Okay.
But I do have another question. One of the amazing things that you shared with our audience is Chewy, who is an amazing company. They sell pet products, and Sandy and I are big dog fans. But one of the things that we learned is that they have a dedicated department that does these little oil paintings for people who've lost their dog. And you reached out to the audience and you said, hey, listen, if you have $200,000 to spend on a small oil painting operation, or you have $200,000 to spend on a Facebook ad, what would you do? And the audience raised their hands and they're like, it was resounding that, hey, those paintings obviously have the biggest impact. And you shared with everybody that you said, hey, the thing is, almost all the time, a marketer is going to buy the Facebook ad, and it's why? Because it has data. It basically, and that's what we're being asked to provide all the time. Yeah. So, comment a little bit about the potential shift that we are going to have to go through to, I don't know, get support for an idea like that.
Right. But of course, data is crucial for marketing and sales and for everything that we do. I mean, that helps you to invest the money at the place where it brings most value. So that makes a lot of sense to do that. The only thing is, you don't need to do that for 100% of your marketing activities.
Right.
I think if you keep only 5% of the marketing activities that you do on the side and say, we're going to do something that really touches people, we don't really know if we will be able to prove it, but if you hear us out, you will understand why this could work.
Right.
And then the story of Chewy is amazing. What I always use as a quote is there's a difference between a human and a corporate human. And the human knows what the right decision is. The corporate human also knows that, but chooses the wrong one because it's just, the system is made for you to work with an Excel sheet, to work with data, and to prove that you're a great marketer. But the human knows we should do the other thing. And as an organization, it's a challenge today to build a culture where you let the normal human also take a marketing decision now and then. And that's, we're moving in a world of AI and automation. Service experience is going to be automated, programmed, it's going to be close to perfect, and because of that, it's going to become really boring. Every company will be the same.
Yeah.
And the difference will be made by really touching people in a way that they remember it, that they talk about it, and that you did something that is remarkable for them individually. And if you can organize that in a way like Chewy did, that is extremely powerful.
Agreed.
I think that was one of my favorite themes of your keynote, is that everything is becoming so over-engineered and overly automated that at the end of the day, the victors will be those who kind of go back to the basics of establish human connection, try to create something that is memorable, something that is lasting. Because ultimately, it's not, automation is half of the story.
Yeah.
It's also extremely, it's layered. There's empathy, there's connection, there's all of the other things that create brand loyalty.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
And we can't thank you enough, Stephen. Your talk was incredible.
Thank you.
We'd love to invite you 3 more times as well.
Yeah. So one thing before we let you go, before you took the stage, Rich had mentioned that we had acquired a couple of companies this year. One of them was Voxy, and a great partner of ours on the team shared with us that your book is mandatory reading there. So they were all really familiar with you. So you had some.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Thank you for that.
It
you're welcome.
legitimized that acquisition. We were like, okay, so this was a good one to buy then. That's a smart company. Thank you again.
Thank you. It was fantastic. Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. You too.
All right, 2 winners there. We're good.
I feel smarter. Do you?
Oh yeah.
Like
I just got better at my job. It's like free consulting.
Well, we had an incredible first day, and we're going to have an incredible second day as well. Todd, we've got one heck of a lineup this year overall. Are you anyone specifically tomorrow that you cannot wait to watch?
I want to watch our own guy. I'm Team Trace3. Yeah. Tony Olzak has impressed year after year. He's our guy. And I'm really excited to see what he has to say. And by the way, he's kept all of his slides like in private. I haven't seen them, so I'm going to be seeing all of this for the first time, which is unusual for both of us.
Yeah, they're pretty impressive. I think you'll be visually pleased.
Oh, you've seen them? You know what he's going to do?
I have. Okay. Of course. Well, we also have a few more key headliners taking the stage tomorrow. We have Azim Azar.
Okay, great, yeah.
We have Eric Knipp from Cisco.
Yeah.
And I love featuring Cisco and any of our sort of super large manufacturers on main stage because they have such a sort of wide-reaching perspective on a lot of the complex topics that are happening in technology. They have global reach. They can provide sort of a scaled-up perspective.
Plus they provide the practical tools to execute on some of the bigger visions that are being painted on stage.
Totally, and I think Eric comes with a very interesting theme around how uncertainty, often thought as a barrier, is actually breeding grounds for innovation. So very sort of parallel to some of the themes we heard from Peter. It'll be a nice sort of single thread. And then we also have Will Gadara, who is widely regarded as really the expert in hospitality. And he really used hospitality to gain an advantage in kind of the restaurant world.
Yeah.
And he describes hospitality as a set of business principles that apply to any and all industries.
Yeah.
And he's such a master in his craft that he took a restaurant that he used to run from top 50 position to number 1 position in the world, 11 Madison Park. So I'm really excited to hear from him as well.
He comes with quite a following. As I walk around the show, everyone is very excited to hear what he has to say. And like you said, hospitality is everything.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to get introduced to him and see what he has to do. See what he has to say, excuse me.
Yes. Say and do. And so we have a great day ahead. And I think with that, should we wrap it up?
Yeah, we're going to wrap up day 1. And you and I have 2 more live sessions. We're going to close out tomorrow's main stage and then close out the entire show the following day. So I'm excited. It's been a great day with you.
Yeah, that was
Thanks
so
for
fun.
launching this press box thing with me.
There's nobody I would rather do this with. Thank you, Mr. Todd Galina.
Oh, you're welcome.
And have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right, see you. See you, Ryan. Yeah.